Hi, I'm Leslie Appleyard, and today it's a privilege to be here with author, Grammy nominee, and psychotherapist, Dr. Michael DeMaria. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you, Leslie.
Pleasure
It's
to have you
so
here.
great to be here.
You too. There's so much we could talk about as far as your credentials, so give us the overview of who you are.
All right, well, thank you. So I have been practicing clinical psychology from a very integrative, holistic perspective for, gosh, I'm going to date myself here, over 30 years now. And I have degrees in philosophy, psychology, and clinical psychology. And I've had a real love of trying to really bring the creative process, meditation, mindfulness into the healing process. So I spent many years working with children in particular in child abuse and neglect. I was actually on the governor's state legislative task force for child abuse and neglect for, gosh, quite a few years. And what was amazing to me, Leslie, was working with kids. You know, kids pick up very quickly if you're not present and just really there with them. So I used play therapy, art therapy, music therapy, poetry therapy, drama therapy, which I know you have a background in theater. And what I found was that when we can get in touch with our natural self, you know, that there is kind of a natural openness and spontaneity we have as children, that as we grow older, we get disconnected or alienated from. So to be completely honest, I actually burned out working with child abuse and neglect and custody cases, testifying in over 100 cases in court. And as part of my healing, I realized that I needed to get back to my inner child. And so now I actually limit my practice to adults in transition. And I see now all that work with kids was kind of like an apprenticeship for my work now with adults and helping adults get in touch with their inner child. So this has really been a big part of my work and part of what led to my most recent book.
Yeah, which that is a big part of why we're here today. Tell me about your latest book and really what inspired you to write this.
I'd be happy to, Leslie. Thank you for asking. So the title of the book is, you can hold it up there.
Yes, here it is.
That's the pre-publication copy, just for you, is Peace Within is the title, and the subtitle is Clear Your Mind, Open Your Heart, Embrace Your Soul, and Heal Your Life. And so this is my third book. I have another book of poetry as well, so fourth book overall. My other books were a little theoretical. You know, you get a PhD in psychology, background philosophy, you know, there's a tendency to sometimes get a little too theoretical, you know, and I've been told at times that sometimes I can, you know, go on at a little bit too intense or maybe a little too abstract level. So my prayer these last 10 years, after going through a pretty profound transformation in my life, was to try to create a book that was very accessible, that was companionable. What I mean by that is that you could keep it by your bedside at night, and that also was as much of a workbook as a book. So as you know, I know you've taken a look at it a bit, is that each chapter is really, I actually call them modules in the book, not chapters, because it really takes you through a step-by-step process of developing more peace within your day, more peace within your life. And so I really wanted to support people's own practice of finding more peace and healing and joy in their lives.
So who did you write this for?
That's a great question. Anybody who really may be struggling in their own lives with some peace, particularly perhaps going through a painful or difficult transition. As you know, I wrote this as after Hurricane Ivan, which affected our whole community so deeply. And I really went through a very difficult major depression myself, you know, which included being suicidal at the time, being overwhelmed. And here I was, a successful psychologist, musician, author, speaker, but any of us can have the basically floor pulled out from under us at any time. And I wanted to let people know that if they're suffering and they're struggling, there is a way back to that sense of sanity and balance. So I use my story as a touchstone. But it also can be for somebody, let's say, who is in a relationship or has a family member or friend who's struggling. Because let's face it, life is difficult, right? We all take our lumps and we all suffer at one time or another. So because we live in such a world of future shock, information overload, data smog, that I really want to try to help people just find a little more peace in their day.
Yeah. So what are some of the principles kind of that are a part of the book? I know that's a big question because there's so much.
It's a good question. It's an excellent question. In fact, I have in the very beginning kind of a list of principles, that I encourage the reader to look at when they first get the book. Do these practices over 10 weeks, or it's designed where you could do this one module, one chapter once a week. You could do it every 2 weeks, once a month. It's created so you can do it at your own pace. And then relook at those principles over time. Probably the main one that seems to really blow a lot of people away is that peace is our natural state. And, this is something I get a lot of pushback on. It's like, oh, come on, Michael.
For you.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, maybe for you, DeMaria. That, even in our history, that we see kind of like, the survival of the fittest and life is about conflict and, that look at the world and wars. How can you say that our natural state is peace? Well, for me, I really take the image of, again, our childlike openness when we're young. I also like the image of us at sleep. Every night, sleep is like a 7 to 8 hour meditation. And to me, we're kind of dropping into our natural state in sleep. And it's you can't think of a more peaceful place, right, than sleep. And why is it that during the day we lose touch with this kind of deep, receptive, welcoming, centered stillness? So, and I'm not the only one who said this. I mean, these are kind of a restatement of some of the, what we call the perennial wisdom traditions of the world, that we all have kind of a true nature. And this true nature actually is deeply peaceful. So that is probably, I call it the ocean of peace, that when we stop, quiet our minds, open our hearts, we can touch this ocean of peace. That's actually a natural part of who we are. And
the book really provides tools to access that.
That's exactly right. Every module, every chapter really lays out some basic practices for you to do. Creating a peace within space in your house, creating a peace within journal, and another kind of practices that are actually quite simple. Even though I teach yoga meditation, it's oftentimes the simpler practices that are the most profound and give us the greatest results. Like one that we were talking about before the show is, I call it releasing into the now. Are you open to do it with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So in releasing to the now, it's simply breathing in, your palms are facing upward, and you're breathing in nice and deep. Yeah, there we go.
I prematurely sighed, sorry.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Okay.
I love
Good.
it. So we're breathing in, and the palms are coming up. Turn them 360 at the throat, all the way up. We're going way up, and then we're breathing out, and
I gotta do it again.
yeah, we gotta do that at least 2 more times. Breathing in, breathe out, make an ah. There we go. Ah. One more time, nice and slow. So
maybe we need to. Can we cross our legs?
I would love to. I've been wanting to do that because these chairs are like dying to have my legs
feel so
crossed.
much peaceful already.
Yeah, you
or
see?
at peace, more at peace.
Yes. So
Okay,
this is great,
good.
and this is kind of what I have people do to create a peace within space. And when I teach meditation yoga around town, this is how we do it. So I'm really glad. Thank you.
Good.
I always feel more comfortable.
So breathing. What's another simple tool that you talk about?
Okay. So we call it body awareness, which is a part of mindfulness practice. And mindfulness is simply present moment, non-judgmental awareness of simply what is in this moment. If you watch your thoughts, our thoughts are always taking us into the past and future. We spend a lot of time regretting the past or being anxious or fearful about the future. So in mindfulness, what we're doing is tuning into our senses. Like right now, if you just tuned into the feeling of your body against the couch or chair, And if the people watching, if they just, wherever they're sitting right now, if they close their eyes for a moment and just tune into the sensation, those points of contact between their body and a couch or chair, and just feeling those sensations and points of contact. Also tuning into what you hear and just really being mindful of this moment.
I'm gonna fall asleep.
Yeah, you see, just that moment, just so a few moments of that. So that's called body mindfulness or somatic mindfulness. And so I do many different kinds of mindfulness practices, because you can explore, take a mindful shower. You can eat mindfully. You can drive mindfully. So all these practices are designed to slow you down and be more present in your life. When that happens, our heart rate drops, our blood pressure drops, we increase the sense of enjoyment of just being here now. So we hear about the power of now, but how do we do it?
So because it's sometimes overwhelming, I want that, but how do I access that? So
right. It's a very great question, Leslie. And what I tell people is that that's why we call it a practice. And like a lot of people first hear, it's like, oh, I know that, or I've heard that. But there's a difference between insight and operative insight, where we're actually able to access that experience. And that's why it is a practice. I tell people that, I'm not offering a quick fix. A lot of people out there will be doing that. But this is, if you're willing to do these practices, take your time, create your peace within space. It's like exercising a muscle. When you first start working out, you can feel overwhelmed. They're like, oh man, I'm not doing that again. I'm so sore. But like anything else, the more you practice it, the better you get at it. So why not train our minds the way we train our bodies? And so that's the big first part of it, is as we train our minds, we find ourselves just naturally becoming calmer and clearer throughout the day. Enjoying our conversations because we're really present with the person we're talking to. And it just increases enjoyment and skillfulness in everything we do.
And who doesn't want that?
Exactly.
I feel so much more centered already, but there's a lot more to come. So we're going to work on our breathing, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Michael Brandt DeMaria, clinical psychologist, yoga meditation instructor, and this is your Mindful Moment with Michael. Today's conversation is around mindful conversation. Remember, mindfulness is simply present moment, non-judgmental awareness of what is. It has a curious, inquisitive quality to it. So we move from judgment to curiosity, let go of being in the past or the future, which thinking does, and bring all of our senses and our awareness in the present moment. We're practicing mindfulness, which reduces heart rate, reduces blood pressure, and releases and relaxes all physical, mental, and emotional tension. This is particularly important when we're having a conversation. Do you remember last time you had a conversation and you were already preparing what you were going to say in response to what the other person was saying? That's not mindfulness. You're in the future. Mindful conversation is really listening deeply to the other person, really looking at them, imagining they're the only one at the universe at that point in time, in that moment. When we're mindfully listening and talking, we're also allowing our words to come through our hearts before they come out the mouth. It's almost like listening with the ears of our hearts. So the next conversation you have, I'd like you to try to be as present and focused and mindful as possible. You'll enjoy it more, and so will they. I'm Dr. Michael Brandt DeMaria, and this has been your Mindful Moment with Michael. God bless you, be well, and see you next time.
Welcome back. I'm here with Dr. Michael DeMaria, and I know you've had wonderful success with your music career. So tell us how this book is going to factor into that.
Well, I have been I've probably been more surprised than anybody that I've had the success I've had,
Right.
Leslie. It's been really, really exciting. I actually wanted to study music, and being the child of an immigrant and a mother who grew up in foster homes, they weren't really thrilled with me going into music. Yeah. So you have to be a doctor. So trying to figure out what kind of doctor can I be and dabble in music and art and poetry. And I heard about expressive arts therapies and creative arts therapies. And so, wow, music therapy, this is something I could do. So music's a huge part of my life. And even though, I didn't have my first album released till I was 42 and my first Grammy nomination at 46, now after 4 Grammy nominations and #1 albums, it's been really wonderful. My kind of music is what's called healing meditation music, sometimes known as New Age music. And I started doing it because I would create these meditation, relaxation, and mindfulness tapes, back when you had tapes and not CDs, for my clients and my students. Oh. And I started having people say, gee, the meditations are nice, but do you have just a CD of just your music?
Right.
So I really got inspired, and I started just releasing my music, and I've been so amazed. I feel so amazed.
Look at all these.
How they've taken off. So 6 solo albums, 2 compilations, and a collaboration with Peter Cater. My music's appeared on Eckhart Tolle's Music for Inner Stillness and a number of Sounds True releases. And so doing that, I've now come full circle, having spent much of the last 10 years really focusing a lot on my music. But I also realized that the people hearing the music now are now asking for meditations. It's like, we love your music, but you're a psychologist too? Are you still doing meditations? Can you, suggest how I can use your music in mindfulness and meditation practice? There's a real kind of last year in Time magazine announced the Mindful Revolution on the cover, and it's become an extraordinary area now in the medical fields, the health science. Research is really showing the incredible benefit of meditation, mindfulness, yoga. And so I really wanted to add my voice to the chorus of voices out there and share a little bit of my own personal journey. So I talk a little bit about coming from a very dark, difficult place. And one of the things that was really healing for me, not only were these practices, not only were the mindfulness, not only the journaling and meditation, but it was also finding what was kind of my soul's greatest joy. And that's my music. So I actually, in the book, take the reader through my journey of kind of from suicidal despair to 4 Grammy nominations, being on a Grammy-winning children's album, Native American Music Award, and how following my heart really was something I had not been doing, and how incredibly important that was to my healing and experiencing peace within. Mm-hmm. And that's the second part of the subtitle. Yes, clear your mind, become focused in the moment and centered. But this next piece is opening the heart, and part of that opening the heart is following our heart. And unfortunately in our culture, we don't get a lot of support for doing that, especially for young people.
Right. So is there an online component for the book?
Working on that as we speak. I'm actually doing a on-site training right now. I'm taking a wonderful group of people through this book and process over 6 months, which is meeting every other week. Part of my experience of doing that on-site is developing a really good, solid online program that will evolve out of this. So I don't know if that'll be done when the book is released, or it may be ready towards the end of the year, but a big part of this was to also have it combined with an online program, because it's really peace within for integrative wellness. Because peace really helps us become more healthy in heart, mind, body, and soul. And as you know, the chapters really are helping the person find integrative wholeness throughout every area of their life.
And will there be more on-site trainings for this? Yes,
I love this. I love connecting with people, and although online is really wonderful and it's really exciting, I have people write me from China and Russia and all over the world about my music, and it touches my heart. And my videos have been on my YouTube channel in over 88 countries, been viewed. But there's no substitution for a face-to-face connection, and I will always do some on-site training with this. I may be doing some week-long intensives, because I can do it over 10 half days over a series of months, or I can do it 6 or 7 days, full days within a week, and do a more intensive piece within.
Right.
And then the goal is for those who want to take it to another level. I see the need for people helping be guides for others, or what I call integrative helpers or peace within facilitators.
Yeah.
My hope is peace in the outside world begins with us finding peace on the inside, and then we can be agents of change and agents of bringing peace into the world. So I'm kind of have some pretty big visions and ambitions for helping the world find a little bit more peace.
It's wonderful. So what do you say to someone, though, that's like, I'm too busy to be finding peace and meditating every day?
Just say, are you happy?
Yeah, good.
Are you content? What are you running after? What don't you have time for? If you ask people, I will ask people, like, well, what is it that where are you going? What is the purpose of all your striving? A lot of times they'll say, well, I'm trying to pay off my house, or I'm trying to make more money, or I'm trying because I want to get this car, or I'm looking for this, perfect relationship, or as soon as I finish this degree. And then I say, so what will happen then when you have this much money, or what's going to happen when you go on that vacation, or pay off the house, or find this relationship? Well, then I'll find peace within. Then I'll finally be at peace. It's like, well, this is another main principle that is really important. Peace dependent on external circumstances is fragile and fleeting. So as long as we're trying to find peace outside of us, it'll never last. You might have moments of it. So what's different about this program is I want people to know that if you're peaceful on the inside, or we call inner peace, then you are walking with your peace wherever you go. And to even find kind of the center of the hurricane, that even if chaos is going on around you, you can begin to experience peace. So the journey really is inside. Peace is an inside job.
Yeah. And I know you say in the book that, like you said, in the middle of the hurricane, you can find it in moments throughout the whole day.
Exactly. Punctuate your day with peace, or what I call micro meditations. And so, as soon as you find yourself kind of getting lost, taking that deep breath, bringing yourself back. Where am I sitting? What am I hearing? Oh my goodness, I'm with this amazing, incredible being named Leslie, and getting a chance to hang out with her. And just being present in this moment with whoever you're with, whatever's happening, just be here now.
So what's next? It sounds so amazing, and I know it's going to do so well. But what else do you have on the horizon?
Well, I have a new CD I'm working on that's dedicated to my mom. I think she passed away last September. I get choked up about this, but she's a huge part of my heart, and I feel her with me. In fact, the book is dedicated to her. She has given me so much love and provided so much deep peace and support for me in my life. And so this book is dedicated to her, and this album I'm working on is dedicated to her. And I'm also working on another book. The working title is Heart Warrior, and part of what I find is as people begin to find peace and calm their minds and open their hearts, all of a sudden, they can become more sensitive. And for those of us who might feel a more sensitivity, to follow your heart, you gotta be tough in this world. Because this will do everything in its power to kind of distract you or push you away from following your heart. So this next book is around, kind of the energy of being a warrior in pursuit of following your heart, because you got to have some tough skin too if you're going to be sensitive and follow your heart in this world.
Yeah, and I'm sure, did you draw from a lot of life experiences for that as well?
Yeah, as in all my books, I always kind of put myself out there, and I like people to know they're not alone, and that, I have had my struggles and dark times, and there's nothing to be ashamed of or feel bad about. That it's actually part of our becoming whole is honoring these light and dark times.
And if you, I know exactly, you're so centered and together. So if you're
most of the
having
time.
moments, we're all fine.
Well, that's what I mean. I talk about, with my knee and back injury, falling on the way to the mailbox and cussing myself out. And I was just like, gosh, if my clients and students could see me now, they wouldn't beat themselves up. They would just laugh. Look at DeMaria. I'm not so crazy. So yeah.
It's great. So we have to plug any social, you have Facebook and everything, I'm sure.
Yeah, so the thing I love most is actually my YouTube channel.
Great.
YouTube.com/MB DeMaria, M for Michael, B for Brant, DeMaria. And you can also get it by Googling Dr. Michael DeMaria. I love that because I have the 7x7 meditation challenge, totally free, 7 minutes a day for 7 days. I have my Mindful Moment with Michael, which is another free series of episodes on mindfulness, little 2-minute segments. Lots of information on healing music. My Twitter is the same, twitter.com/MB DeMaria. My name was taken, all the other names were taken, so it's MB DeMaria. And then I think with Facebook, though, it actually is Dr. Michael DeMaria / whatever that is.
Right.
So yeah, you Google me, it
there.
comes up. The tools are there.
Good.
But I love connecting with people. I love hearing how my music and the meditation practices, reach people, touch people. Oh, michaeldemaria.com is the main website. You can get on the early bird waiting list for the online program when it comes out. And pray everything goes well. Hopefully the book will be released June 21st,
Great.
which is on the summer solstice.
I'm sure it will. Well, I'm so excited for you, and we are so lucky to have you here in Pensacola to share all of your knowledge with us. So thank you for being here, and I'm sure there will be more from Dr. Michael DeMaria. Be sure to keep your eye out for him. Thanks so much.